What's up, YouTube? 802 Diesel Crew here. Today we're going to be talking about the Dodge A Ram. The 10 things that I hated about it. The 10 things that I did to fix it and make it into the truck that I wanted. This is the outside view of it. All blacked out. First up would be headlights. The stock headlights are not clear like this. They're made of plastic like these, but water would get behind them and then they would turn this like opaque yellow. Couldn't see shit out of them. So these ones, goodbye. You can find them on Amazon. They look real nice. I think they kind of make the front end of the truck look a lot better. And then the two fog lights are also kind of like that crystallized theme. Next thing up was the stock suspension was shaky at best. This truck had a lift kit in it when I bought it, and the old A-arms were, not really what should have been on there. They should have put a long arm kit on there like this. So you'd hit bumps and you'd go over bumps and it would kind of wander all over the road. So this kit really has helped to stabilize it going down the road. The steering has improved, handling, you name it. It's turned it into a totally different truck, and I absolutely love it. If you're gonna own a Cummins, especially a second gen, the first modification you ever do is to get one of these AirDog 150s. It's a relatively straightforward setup to install it, but this is going to save you from blowing your VP44 fuel pump and then having to spend $1,500 on a reman one. So get one of these systems. They retail for about $500 to $600, I believe. And then installation, if you're going to do it yourself, that's what I call me time. So AirDog 150, great thing. Next up would be switching over the steering linkage from that the T-type to this Y-type. It's way stronger. This is the Death Wobble kit fix from Mopar. I believe it fits from 05 to 08. Absolutely amazing, guys. This took out a lot of the wander in my wheel and really tightened up the responsiveness of everything. Up next is my big brake upgrade, both front and rear. These brake rotors and pads come off a 2005 to 2008 Ram 2500. They're just massive compared to the other ones. You gain about a whole inch, both front and rear, installing these. And besides that, it fills out the wheel well. The inner wheel well, I guess you could call it, of the actual rim and tire setup. A lot better. Doesn't look so small and danky in there. Next up is going to be kind of hard to imagine, but this wire right here is grounded out, and it comes from BD Performance, and it's called a wire insulator. And what it does basically is these Rams have weird shift patterns because they have a lot of fluctuation in power going through the wires, so they'll upshift and downshift. My truck did it around 50 to 55 miles an hour. I couldn't choose if it wanted to be in the higher gear or the lower gear, so it would upshift, downshift. And I installed that isolator, and it took all that away. The truck shifts absolutely perfect now. And if anything, it goes like, it goes like a mother. Stock, these trucks sound pretty good. It's got a different airbox system in here stock. This AFE setup, it's pretty nice. I bought this one used at a relatively good price. I think I paid $75 for the whole kit, and it has a box that I still need to reinstall here that this all sits in. I just haven't had a chance. This is my project truck, and I've been, building it and putting it back together. I've owned the combination of this truck and the truck that made this truck for, almost 10 years now. So I'm just putting this truck back to where I like it. But definitely the air intake is a huge upgrade for sound, power, and performance. Over here, the Banks Ram Air system. What can I say? The fit and finish is amazing. The only thing I didn't like is this pipe right here, this intercooler pipe. On the cool side came, instead of being like red to match this, it was like almost a cement color. So I painted this. But you'll have that. And that's part about, modifying your truck the way you want it is you take something and you make it into what you want. Now, next up is, you can see we're missing something here. There should be a condenser for my AC system, but I just took the AC system out. And what I did was I got the smaller belt, the serpentine belt in there. So my AC is just taken totally out of the loop. Now, I haven't had any problems, but you can see the AC is right down there. And it's not on the serpentine belt at all. And the only thing that is weird is it rides backwards on the pulley here. So the ribs aren't going on the actual pulley, but it hasn't slipped off. And I always carry the extra serpentine belt and tools to put that one on if that happened to happen. Next thing I upgraded was the transmission cooler here. When I was putting this back together, was a perfect time to, punch one of these huge trans coolers on here. I have it hooked up to my into my cab, so it's on the fly, especially when I'm hauling or it's hot outside. I can just get this thing ripping. The old cooler is probably about half the size. It sits over here from here to here, and then it sits in this area. So I just took that all out when I was reinstalling it and put this bigger one in. Now the next item you're going to have to just kind of take my word for, but down in here there's a vacuum pump to run all your vacuum in this truck, and that's what actually runs the say all your amenities, your HVAC inside, and your 4-wheel drive, and it's connected to the power steering pump right here. And when those two start to get out of sync, it oblongs the fittings in there. And that's why you'll see these Cummins leaking on the ground. It's not from the engine weeping so much as it's leaking right from where those two meet together. So when I had this thing apart, I pulled that vacuum pump out. You can get a kit from Cummins. I believe it's $25 or $35. And you just pull the pump ball apart and you put it back together, and then you slam it in there and you just send it. It goes good. If you're ever running any kind of lift, you're going to want to get Droplet Brackets. These are from Hellbent Steel. Basically, you want your sway bar at horizontal to the ground, if not even up in the air a little bit more. I'm going to try to set this one up in the air a little bit higher to get a little bit more torquage on the front end. But aside from that Hellbent Steel stuff is amazing. Coming to the back of the truck, if you know anything about Dodges, these backup lights absolutely suck. Absolutely suck. So I had some spare light bars hanging around, and I installed them on the bumper there. I might change the location of them at some point, but for right now they work. I might tuck them up underneath the truck so they're not so high vis, but they're also good if somebody is tailgating. You flip those suckers on, they back off real fast. I forget what they are, but I think they're 7800 luma amps or whatever that is. Crazy. They're brighter than bright. And then my license plate light, I switched up to an LED. It's wicked bright. It's nice. It looks good. Here's a shot from the back of the new brake system that I installed and made. All new brake lines bent. They work real well. I have Bliston shocks on this thing all around. They really keep the truck planted and smoothing out the ride. The stock ones were, bah. You get those sense of track or all that other stuff. They're not really as good as they seem. Next up is my Edge comp box. This thing was real easy to install. If you have any kind of mechanical knowledge, it's basically all plug and play. You can dial it up and dial it down on the fly and turn it off and on. But I think it's 180 over stock and gobs of torque over stock. But I usually just run it on one. Not trying to blow up my transmission. I've got a shift kit and some other stuff done to it, but it's not built up to where it should be, I guess, to be running it on 5 all the time. Don't get me wrong, it's stout enough to do what I want to do, but I'm not out there to, doing burnouts or racing around like, I'm Michael Andretti or something. Don't mind the top of my steering column here. I have it at home. I just haven't put it back on. I've been ripping the dash apart and doing other things, trying to figure out where I'm going to reset my my boost and my pyrometer and my trans temp and my fuel pressure light. I did have them up on the pillar, right here, but that was in my old truck, and this interior is a different color. I guess I could paint it, but I don't really want to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is do a project where I take these out and I put everything right here. I'm going to have my, my boost, pyrometer, trans, fuel pressure light, have my Edge comp right here, and then have a couple toggle switches for my new LED light bars up front and in the rear, and then one other toggle for something else. Now, the stock Infinity radio on these things are pretty nice, but I needed an upgrade. We don't really have good channels around here as it goes for the radio. So I just picked up this JVC head from the Walmart there and wired it in. I actually took apart the old radio and took the wiring harness out of that, and that's what I used to splice it together. It actually worked really well, surprisingly. I don't always do ghetto stuff like that, but I think that was way less ghetto than getting their wiring kit that they had at Walmart. And the Scan Gauge 2. This thing's amazing, guys. You can read codes, clear codes, and then it's got 4 places for different gauge settings. If your vehicle has it monitored, this thing will pick it up. So I usually run RPMs, water temp, miles per hour, and then sometimes I'll fluctuate between MPG and load on the engine, just so I can watch that stuff. Well, guys, aside from that, I think that's over 10 items, but you get the point. If you have any questions about the second gens or Dodge in general, you can hit me up in the comments. If you like this video, obviously hit that like button. Hit that little bell button too, because that will notify you when I put out a new video. My content, I think, is pretty good. So yeah. Hey, have a happy Sunday. 802 Diesel Crew signing out.